Welcome back to Couple Movie Watchers with Ryan and Anna. In today's video, spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about 28 weeks later. You don't want to miss today's video, so stay tuned. Alright, so we just rewatched the movie 28 weeks later. We're going to give a couple of spoilers. So if you've seen the movie already, great. If you haven't,
don't watch this.
Watch it anyway. Get to find out if you want to see this movie, okay? You might not. This review might just help you save an hour and a half of your life, or make the right decision when it comes to the zombie films. Because we love zombie films. I love zombie films in particular. And in today's video, it's all about 28 weeks later. Now, I haven't seen this in a long time. But Anna's like, let's rewatch it. I was like, cool.
Yeah, because it's a good one.
It's definitely a good one. And I feel like I've forgotten so much. Like, beginning part, I was like, oh yeah, I remember the husband. And then you see him eating with his wife. This little kid comes knocking on the door. They should have just left that door open because the little kid brings the zombies after him. So
they shouldn't even brought him in.
They shouldn't have brought him in there. They was chilling, having a good time. But actually, you know what? Maybe it wasn't really the little kid's fault. It was that one lady who opened up the blinds.
The wife?
That one lady who opens up the blinds that gets the zombies in.
The blonde girl?
I don't know. She just died. Just some random.
The first one, right?
Yeah, some random lady opens the blinds and gets everybody killed. Girl. And then the dad, he had to, she tried to save this kid that he just met. For some reason, they had two kids of their own, but they never explained. Actually, you know what? They never explained why those two kids wasn't with them, right?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Like, how did they separate? What happened between them? How did they? Why weren't they with them the whole time?
Yeah, because basically, you just think this is just a married couple with no kids. She sees this one kid. She risked her life to save the kid.
Obviously, if your mother instincts, but there's no backstory or anything. They don't talk about anything. Yeah, they're just eating together.
And she risked her whole life to save this one kid. And actually, what doesn't make sense either. Now when we think about the movie, right? Mm-hmm. We know she's immune. We get to that in a second. So the husband leaves her, which was the right decision because there was no way he's going to fight a horde of zombies to save his wife at this point.
He tried to protect them in the beginning. Like, he was holding them back. He
did what he could, but the wife just, the wife let this kid just get her killed, supposedly. But then out of nowhere, he's the only one who survives out of this first encounter. Mm-hmm. Fast forward 28 weeks later. Mm-hmm. And somehow he has two kids that who knows where they came from. Mm-hmm. They ship him in on a plane. And these kids, break the laws. Know there's zombies in the world.
They go back to England, no?
Yeah, they go back to England and they try to go back to their old house. They go back to their old house and
they find their mom.
They find their mom. But this is the part I don't get, right? We know she's infected, right? So you would think that so we know she's immune to the virus. Mm-hmm. But she's also a carrier. Mm-hmm. But what doesn't make sense is, yes, she's immune, but how did she survive? Because those things were just eating people up, regardless if you're immune or not, right? Mm-hmm. Because when her husband gets infected by her, he kills her immediately.
Mm-hmm. Well, she was kind of like bounded. Yeah,
but how did she escape from those other zombies, even not being
Because she was running around.
She wasn't. She was still in that house when her husband was jetting across this field. You see her get grabbed by a zombie, and she's still in that house. And the whole house was surrounded.
That's true.
So how did she even... That doesn't make sense. So, the more I think about this movie, as much as...
You're butchering it too much.
I know, because I went in there loving this movie. Before I started doing this review, I was like, you know what? 28 weeks later, it's a really good film. But the more we think about it, or the more I think about it, this movie wasn't that good. How did she survive? The kids was annoying. They bring the apocalypse to the world again. And everybody dies to save these kids who just killed the whole world. Long story short. And Hawkeyes get killed too.
Yeah, he does get killed for the kids. And in the end, it looks like they don't even survive. I don't even know.
Yeah, because a little kid gets bitten by his stupid dad. That whole family just destroyed the world. The dad who ran away from his wife, the wife who somehow managed to escape hundreds of zombies, which she couldn't do by herself. But
In the beginning.
Because she's immune, which doesn't matter if you're immune or not. These zombies weren't just biting you and walking off. These zombies were ripping you apart and then walking off. Mm. So after she gets bit one time, a horde of zombies is going to bite her one time and just let her go. Deuces, lady, deuces. You can walk back home. For some reason, you're going to go back home. Even though you're immune, you're going to go back home and do your thing. But you know what would have been better if the dad would have... Well, going back to the dad. So basically, his simp butt, when they find the wife, the kids who broke the law, found the mom, they bring her back to the camp. For some reason, there's no guards watching her. There's guards all the way through.
They're not watching her. That's what I was like. If they would have been like 3 or 4 security people watching her, he wouldn't even got in there. But then I was telling you, then we wouldn't even have a movie.
We could have had a movie. He could have paid some of the guards off. For some reason, you have guards all around this whole facility. You can't even use a bathroom without a gun to your head. But for some reason, the most high value target, the one person who's a zombie that could destroy the whole world, you only got one guard there. Mm-hmm. You know, no one's watching her. You know what I mean? They couldn't afford like one guard to just be there chilling, smoking a cigarette. No, they had no guards. Like they could have had like 2 guards there, and he's like, "Look, man, let me just see my wife," or something, right? Mm-hmm. They could have made some type of story where they got through the guards. Mm-hmm. No, man, he just kind of just walked casually because he has a pass. Mm-hmm. Garbage.
What?
And then Hawkeye, for some reason, decides to risk his whole life to save these kids, to help a girl out that he never even met, for some poutine that he never met. Guys begin.
What is that poutine?
What is that? It's the poutine.
Oh.
He died for the kitty cat for no reason. Some girl you heard on a walkie-talkie said, "Save the kids." Oh man, that voice sounds sexy. I'm going to die. I'm going to die for these kids because it's the right thing to do. And I'm going to tell my buddy he got to die for these kids too, because these kids got the antidote, which they don't, but these kids got the antidote, but they going to ruin the world. I'm going to help build the world. But yeah, it was just kind of weird. Even like, it just got weird. Like the more you think about the movie, the more you can just break it down. It's like, you know what? Nah, this movie wasn't as good as I thought it was, but I'll watch it again because I love zombie films. And anything with zombie films, I'm going to watch. And if you're a zombie film lover...
There are some other zombie movies that are not that great. This one still has like, you know...
Well, most zombie movies suck, unfortunately.
Yeah, and this one's pretty okay.
Yeah, this was one of the better ones. You know, even though I'm bashing it,
the music was pretty good too.
It was.
I forgot what it's called, but that one is really creepy.
Yeah, the music was creepy. The tone was good. So the zombies were really good. So this is what made the movie good. The action sequences when it had like it felt larger than life at a certain moment. The action sequences were good when things started to move. The zombies were really well done. So they had like a lot of positives when it comes to this movie. So even though some of the characters suck, it was still overall a solid 7 in my book, especially when it comes to the zombie genre. You don't really get to see a lot of large-scale zombie movies to this scale, even though it wasn't like super large scale, but most zombie movies are super low budget. Like they don't have a budget for zombie films, and this was actually relatively decent. Mm-hmm. And that's why I can't wait for the Army of the Dead to come out, because I have so much high hopes when it comes to that.
We'll see how it goes.
I think it's going to be good, man. But we'll see.
Let's not have high expectations.
I know, right? I'll watch it, and next thing you know, I'll start poking holes in it. Well, you know that guy right there?
Yeah, that's what I'm like.
He killed 100 zombies with one bullet. So we'll see. Hopefully it turns out really well. So you haven't seen 28 Weeks Later, go see it.
Watch the first one.
You don't even need to watch the first one. The first one...
Oh, there's 2 different stories, I guess.
Yeah, it has carried the same name like Spider-Man From Home or whatever. It's just 2 different movies. They don't even continue with the same characters. Like, what happened to the characters in part 1? They just, like, disappeared. You know.
It's still good, though.
I still want to see what happened to the original characters. And to be honest, they need to make a part 3 because it was a good series, and I want to continue on
we
that
were
story.
expecting a third one.
Yeah, I really like different stories that a new one supposed to come back. But
let's hope that they do.
I think it's like stuck in development hell.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, so we'll see. But anything else for you?
No.
Perfect. Oh, and just on a side note, I used Google, which is my best friend. It was supposed to be 28 months later. But
the third one?
The third one. So it looks like they're trying to make a sequel to 28 weeks later, 28 days later, 28 months later. Next thing you know, it'll be 28 years later.
Damn.
But it's stuck in what they call purgatory hell.
Really? What does that mean?
Basically, ain't nothing happening to it. But we'll see. Hopefully, the producers, the writers, whoever owns this film at this point, get it together and we can see some really cool things with this franchise because I really like it a lot. If not...
Even though you were bashing on it?
Yeah, tough love. You can bash on a product that you like. It's like getting a bowl of cereal.
But
I love
I
these
think
Wheaties.
because we've been watching it so many times that you just kind of nitpick whatever you see. Like, wait a minute. Because the first time when you first see it, you just like... It's kind of like when you watch a movie and you like have all these... you see it and you're really into it. But then after you're like, wait... They messed up on here. Why that doesn't make sense here? Watching it so many times, you kind of start seeing, okay, they, critiquing it in a way.
Movies that really wasn't that great. Great movies, you watch them again, it's, oh man, I learned something new. Unfortunately, this wasn't one of those movies. This was one of those movies like, oh man, that's right. Hawkeye died in this movie. Easily. I forgot he got killed so easily. Then the girl's soldier dies next. Anyway, I don't want to bash the movie. I give it a solid thumbs up. Solid 7. Worth watching, even though I bashed it, especially if you're a zombie film lover. You're not going to get these many movies of this high caliber when it comes to the quality, even though some of the story is lacking in this film. You don't expect A-grade cinema when it comes to storytelling, when it comes to zombie films.
Yeah.
We get what we get. And we just got to take it with a grain of salt. I'm like, man, I wanted some extra sauce on my wings. But you know what? I'm just glad I got my wings. And they fried. And they got a little bit of seasoning on it. You still want to complain. But you're just happy you got your food. And that's how the zombie movies are. And 28 weeks later, you got a little bit of sauce on there. It makes you feel like, I forgot the hot sauce. But it's still seasoned, so I'm good. On that note, anything else you want to add?
Let us know what you think.
Yeah, let us know what you think. Leave your comment, thoughts, nudes, just playing, whatever, on the comment section.
What? If you guys have any zombie movies recommendations, let us know.
Yeah, let us know what's popping in the world of the zombie films.
Maybe Ryan hasn't seen it.
I doubt it. But
he's seen all the zombie movies, so I'm just saying.
I ain't got nothing to do with my life. I spent years of 10,000 hours watching this, so...
We'll see.
See if you guys can keep up. On that note, we're going.
Peace.